going on, everyone? I'm Jaren, and today we are talking about One Night Only. In this not-so-alternative modern world, we follow two New Yorkers who search for love on the one night of the year where premarital sex is legal. This film is directed by Will Gluck, the man who's brought us some raunchy comedies over the years, such as Fired Up, Easy A, Friends with Benefits, and Anyone But You. And it's also written by Travis Braun, who I don't have a lot of experience with as far as his filmography goes, but I did have the pleasure of meeting him in person. I remember I met Travis right before summer began and we got to converse about some movies. He talked about being a screenwriter and I was like, bro, what are you working on? And he talked about how he had a movie coming out in August called One Night Only. And I was like, I really want to check it out because he described it as The Purge, but with sex. That was a wild idea. And then coincidentally enough, the trailer dropped later on that week. While sex comedies and rom-coms are no stranger pairings, I figured we were headed back to the golden age, kind of like American Pie, where we got equal slices of both heart and horny. I told Travis I was going to pull up on opening weekend, show my support, and how excited I was for this. And for those of you who know me, it is rare that I'm excited for a rom-com, especially in this era of streaming. So after seeing the movie for myself, I can honestly say that, like Will Gluck's last outing, Anyone But You, there's so much to adore on the page. But unfortunately, this is absurdly mediocre and PG-13 as fuck. Starting off with the positives, again, this was a wild and daring pitch, which I was ultimately curious about how this was going to be handled, how we were going to explore this world with these set of rules. And without being exposition heavy, they do decide to sprinkle in some newsreels and shared experiences between characters amongst the 3 years that this mandate has taken effect. My one big question going in was, how in the hell is the government supposed to carefully monitor every single individual year-round, making sure that they abide by the mandates? And I gotta say, the movie does a pretty good job at trying to sum up how state laws and sexual intercourse go hand in hand. I was very much invested in our two main characters' journeys. We have Monica Barbaro, who plays Allie, and Callum Turner, who plays Owen. Now, I haven't seen too much of Barbaro's work between this and Top Gun Maverick, but I'm gonna be honest and straight out say it. The woman is hot, and she wears that silver slit dress like she's doing it a favor. Turner is kind of the same, where I am just realizing that this man has been in many other movies that I've seen before but haven't really noticed him in until now. And with the amount of times that this man takes off his shirt in the movie, I can see why Dua Lipa locked him down. When it comes to their performances, they are more than just eye candy. They really try their hand at being charming and quirky, and if they don't end up making you laugh, they sure know how to smack a big smile across your face. There were a handful of cameos that I was not expecting to see in this movie, and it did genuinely get a cackle or two out of me. And I also spotted 3 particular characters from the director's last movie, and it was a nice touch, but it's one of those if you blink, you'll miss it type of move. After watching this movie, I guarantee you, you're going to be craving some pizza and some sex. Guys, I really am tiptoeing. I'm struggling at trying to find the right words of what I really got to say about this movie. And it's not that the movie is terribly done or if it was terribly made on purpose, but they really just lost the plot with me. Getting into my mixed opinions, and I say mixed because at least they were trying. I wish there were more shenanigans. I wish I laughed more. There were so many sticky ideas and situations that they could have pushed the envelope on, but they were just missing that little extra oomph that could have enticed some kind of reaction in my packed auditorium. I mean, Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist is a much better movie than this. It all fell flat. I mean, it really played it safe with some of the gags that they set up, only to fail to follow through with all of it. I mean, there is a section where Allie and Owen are running around the city trying to find an available condom. That is a great opportunity for some laughs. But once they dash out of that bodega, oh my gosh, the quality of humor just takes a nosedive. I know it's a cheap shot to take when I say this, but the marketing is to blame for this. I mean, I wish I did not see the trailer. I mean, the script does a pretty good job at having our established main characters cross paths with one another and making you believe that they're going to be each other's solutions. And once they fumble that first encounter, it becomes a race against the clock, a competition between two of our main characters and them attempting to achieve their goals at all costs, even if it results into embarrassment and sabotage. And I gotta say, knowing the endgame of the narrative through the marketing really made a lot of the emotional stakes very underwhelming and predictable. Getting into my negatives, well, I have read an article where the next generation of moviegoers do not care for nudity and sex scenes anymore if it does not serve a purpose to the story. Now, while I agree with that statement to some degree, I also read an article where the director, Will Gluck, has cut out all the nude scenes that were shot for this movie. What? Why? The story is about the one night that everyone who is not married has the right to fuck. So what the hell are we doing here, guys? I mean, I'm not asking for graphic sex scenes or nudity from our main characters, but I'm talking about really emphasizing the fact that a lot of these side characters and bystanders who are getting freaky in the streets, come on, what a missed opportunity. I'm not trying to come off as a sleazy pervert or a sex-crazed fiend, but this is the type of movie that warrants that type of awkwardness, that crude humor, that entices the right reaction when it comes to watching something in a movie theater that is so taboo. I mean, I'm not asking for porn, that is what the internet is for, but do you think that something like the 4 American Pie movies would stand out the way they did had they omitted a lot of the wildest and crudest elements from their movies? That's like watching a horror movie and hoping that nothing horrific happens, or eating a really good steak that has been cooked to perfection, but it hasn't been seasoned. And if they really wanted to make this movie make a lot more sense, make it all about the sexual tension and the aggressive makeout sessions, then they could have had this movie take place any other day of the year. Any of the 364 days that people were not allowed to have sex. And it would have been funny because of people's behavior. We still could have gotten the same movie, and you don't have to show the act. Overall, this is a perfect example of that original Purge movie meets Valentine's Day that has been packaged and presented in generic streaming slop. I have never been this exhausted with a New York City backdrop as a saturated ingredient in another rom-com, and yes, many movies have done this better. I also think that they lost an opportunity to make an Eyes Wide Shut reference. That would have been insane. And there's also another plot hole that I did not realize until now. Like, I have not seen any families or children throughout this entire New York City backdrop. I mean, you know, other than the one outrageously inappropriate kid who was kind of funny, I mean, what do they do on a night like this? Like, where do they hide when this night takes place? Well, all right, guys, that's all I got to share about that movie. Go ahead and check it out if you want. I mean, wait for it for streaming or just don't bother with it at all. I'm Jaren, but now I'm going to want to thank you guys again for taking some time out of your day to hear me talk some movies. I'll see you guys at the theater. Look forward to more reviews. Take care.